my friend, welcome to Parenting A to Z. I'm Kelly Bourne, and this week we're digging right into whining, how to deal when our kids whine. We're gonna look at why they whine in the first place. I've got a little 3-step system you can use in the moment to deal with your kids whining, and then some proactive steps you can take moving forward to lessen the amount of whining you're finding yourself dealing with on a daily basis. Because man, it's like nails on a chalkboard sometimes, right? It can drive you a little bit batty. So grab your cup of coffee and we'll get right to it. Oh man, whining can be so hard to deal with. It's just like, it can just grate, right? That voice, it can just grate. And it's not only the voice, it's that feeling of kind of being manipulated. Like they're only doing this to get what they want. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what they're using the whining for. It's just really a means to an end for them because they've learned somewhere along the line that if I use this voice and if I don't let up, mom and dad are gonna cave, they're gonna cave, it's all gonna come falling down right into my hand, right? I know, our kids, they're little geniuses. They really are little geniuses. So when it comes to squashing the whining, it's just keeping that in mind that when our kids are doing this, all they're really doing is taking a misguided way to get their goal met, whatever it is. If they want something or if they need something or if they want to talk to you, whatever it is. Whining is their ticket to getting what they want. So for us, it's just helping them get what they want through cooperative means, and then they'll leave the whining in the dust because it'll no longer be useful. So that's our main job. If we want to get rid of the whining, we need it to stop being useful for our kids. So the way that I like to deal with this is kind of like a 3-part system. So right off the top, when you find yourself first dealing with whining, like this is a really new onset behavior, first and foremost, just validate what they're after. So yeah, you know what? You're really disappointed about that, or you really wanted that candy, or you want it, like just validate whatever it is they're asking for. And then in the second breath, the thing that I like to tack on is, you know what? I can see you're really frustrated, bud, but I can't understand what you're asking me. Not letting the whining have that power for them getting what they want. So you're noticing, you're aware that they're after whatever it is they're after, but you are not willing to let the whining be the means to the end for them. So that's really the first thing when you start noticing that behavior, noticing, acknowledging, validating, while also pumping the brakes and being like, you know what, bud, I can see you're after something, you need something. I really want to help you, but I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're saying. Is there another way you could ask me? Or I really want to help you. Like, can you help me out, bud? Can you ask in a different way? Just kind of sending the message that voice isn't going to work for you. And as effective as that is, because really, like, it does work, at least for our family, about 9 times out of 10 at getting them to go back to using their regular voice. Sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes they're really relentless, and sometimes they don't want to give up, and sometimes they're just like seeing if they can really get what they want using this whiny voice. And the key there is just to not notice it. Pay it no mind. And I don't mean totally ignoring your child, of course not. I just mean not noticing the whining. You don't have to do that. You can excuse yourself to go to another room. You say, can you use your regular voice, bud, or should I go to another room? Like, I'm happy to talk to you, but I will even say to my kids, like, that voice, it's really hurting my ears. So come see me when you're ready to talk. I'm sorry. It's hurting me. It's hurting me. Because the thing is, when we're constantly addressing the whining, if we're, stop whining, I told you to stop whining, the more we address it, the more it works, because the more attention they're getting, the more they're seeing, like, okay, when I do this, I have the full attention of mom or dad or grandma or whoever they're using it on. So really, if they're persisting, that's fine. We just also need to persist. But yet she persisted. Like, we need to persist in the face of our kids whining. And that can be just not noticing it. It can be tuning out the whining. It can be even excusing yourself to another room. Just because our kids want to use that voice doesn't mean we gotta listen to it, right? And it also doesn't mean we need to be a jerk about it either. So if you need to excuse yourself, excuse yourself. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And then eventually they will absolutely see that, okay, I'm trying this, it's not working, so they'll drop it. Because all of us, even us as adults, we're all goal directed. If we are trying something and it's not getting us what we want, will drop the behavior. And it's the exact same with whining. So those 3 are really great tools that you can use in the moment, but there are also some really good back pocket strategies you can use proactively on the daily when your kids aren't whining that will also help lessen the amount and severity of their whining. And the first thing is just to kind of have an awareness, just to kind of notice where our attention has been, because whining generally is an attention-seeking behavior. It's their way of getting us to pay attention. So just taking a look at that, what that looks like for yourself. How attentive have you been? Have you been distracted? Have you been overwhelmed? Are you stressed with something else? Look at what's going on with you in your life and how much one-on-one time you have had with your kids, and just stepping back a bit and seeing, am I giving my full attention? And that doesn't mean you have to be giving it 24/7, but when you're with them, are you with them? Or are you distracted by other things? So just paying attention to that for yourself. And then making changes where you need to make changes. If it is setting aside one-on-one time for each kid, or having special reading time, or going for a walk, like whatever it is, just notice that for you. If you need to have a little check-in, if you need to have a check-in with your kids and have some more quality one-on-one time. Another big one too is starting to teach our kids assertiveness skills. When you start to notice this whining, when you start to notice them trying to win your attention or get what they want using whining, that's a great opportunity to kind of harness it and teach them those skills to know how to ask for what they want in a polite, respectful way. So sometimes it's just a little bit of coaching. And one way you can do that is just by giving them the language, by coaching them and giving them the phrases and the things you wish they would have said when they were asking for the play date, or they were asking for the candy, or they were wanting to leave the park. All those instances where they could be whining, you can just substitute, can I please have, or I'm feeling disappointed about, or I wish I could, or I wanted to stay later and play at the park, or just giving them that language. So whatever it is they're whining about, give them the tools, give them the option of what they could be saying instead. Because the more we can teach them and the more we can equip them with that language, the more they're going to be able to use it. They're not just going to magically know how to tell us they're disappointed or tell us they're frustrated or ask politely for something if we don't first show them the rope. So just take it as a great opportunity to teach assertiveness skills. It'll serve them so well down the road, and it'll save your ears. It'll save your ears, and it'll save you so much frustration, because they won't have to whine to get what they want, because you've taught them how to be assertive and ask for what they want. And then one last little back pocket tool that it works for so many quote unquote misbehaviors is just to catch them in the act of being good, or catch them in the act of being assertive and asking what they want or telling us what they need in a really polite way. So just saying like, yeah, sure thing, no problem, or thank you, it's a pleasure when you ask so politely for things. Of course, I would love to get that for you. Just really catching them in the act whenever they are using those behaviors, because sometimes we can just forget. Sometimes we can take those polite behaviors for granted. Really, we can, right? And we can focus in on the negative. It's like a trigger when they're rude or they start whining, where we feel like we need to jump in and teach. Whereas if we can embrace those moments where they're already shining, where they're already showing strengths, we'll just start to see more of it. It's the positive hamster wheel. The more we notice the good, the more good we'll get. So just keep that in mind. So I know, guys, whining can be really tricky to deal with, but the key is just to acknowledge what your kids are after, while also holding firm on that boundary that whining voice is not going to get them whatever it is they need, while also giving them the tools and giving them the language and coaching them through how to ask for what they want in a really assertive way. So I hope that helps, guys. Of course, leave any questions or comments below. Always love chatting with you. If you're looking for any more in-depth parenting resources and support, don't forget to check us out in the Parenthood. I hold weekly office hours, so we can chat and you can ask questions one-on-one and give you some really good tips and tools you can run with. So good luck, guys. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you in the next video.